What's up? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode slash edition slash installment of Free Thinkers. I am Q. I may or may not be the only person that's on here. Um, I'm running this solo right now, so I'm trying to do a couple different things. I'm trying to make sure that this is actually shareable and that it's not just close to my page, which it might be. But if that's the case, it's all right. I'll just replay it at another time. So this is one of those days where the committee came together. Um, I didn't feel like getting on today, but I did feel like getting on at the same time. For some reason, I just felt like I had some stuff on my chest. I don't know. I feel like I got some stuff that I need to get out. And in addition to that, we often come up with different topics um, and different levels of subject matter, but at the same time, oftentimes we don't get to talk about the things that's on the thread of the Free Thinkers Facebook page. Um, so I do want to touch a couple things on that. Also, some things that have been sent to me, just a few things that I've been seeing. I don't give a lot of attention or energy to things that I see on Facebook or Instagram or Messenger. A lot of this stuff, it's weird to me. A lot of the stuff that I watch, oftentimes, it's not even about AI, but it's so much what the president would call fake news, and people are taking the word content creator to another level now, where people literally just make up stories for the purpose of sparking controversy or discussion or debate or some type of polarization. And I can see it. Ugh, I can see it from a mile away. Like I see the setup. I see the way there's certain trigger words people use in order to get interaction on their page. And for me, it's highly irritating for me. I just there's not a lot of ways for me to say it, but I just don't like it. Um, if my strings are going to be pulled, I want them to be pulled organically. I don't like people just coming on. I mean, I don't like people doing or presenting me information or situations for the purpose of trying to incite certain emotions from me. So my time, that's a good question. I'm thinking about this because I was about to say my time on social media is coming to an end. But then also think, do I have to completely get off of social media, or do I just have to learn how to be a master manager of social media? Because even now, I don't think I have to do away with it. It's just that I'm very specific in the type of information that I take in, the type of information that I accept, that I listen to. I have a pretty acute I have a pretty acute radar of the real from the fake, and once something gets fake or it comes out of the radius of my frequency, then I'm pretty quick with shutting it down, turning it off. Like even when I watch YouTube, I don't even listen to commercials. Like I am very specific about anything that's going into my ears, that I'm ingesting, that I'm digesting, that I need to be specific about it, and I need to make sure that it's something that I actually want to partake in. The moment that I feel that it doesn't fit my palate, I'm out of there. Um, so I think I got a couple of good topics. I loaded up a few things based off of some things that people sent me. I saw Smack in the back in the back room earlier. Hopefully he comes back on, because one of these clips I think actually was something that he sent me as well. But there's a few. I'm gonna touch on about 3 or 4 topics. And what time is now? I'm trying to be out of here in the next 30, 45 minutes. Probably won't happen, but that is my intent and my goal. So for anyone who wants to join on, this is open, even though that I'm just on here by myself. Um, you can go to our YouTube page, Freethinkers YouTube. If you go into the link, I have the link copied in into the comment section, so you can go there. Just come in, have something in your ears that you can put and be a part of the conversation. It's not even complicated. So I'm trying to let me find some of the. I don't know which one I'm gonna go with first. It's quite a bit going on. Let me touch on some of this basic stuff that I know has been a very hot topic. Ooh, I better do this quick. Let me say that. I'm going to I'm gonna touch on this Carmelo Anthony. Um, I'm gonna touch on that really quickly because by the time if somebody else jump in here, I don't think I have very popular opinions, or I don't think I have opinions that people are really want to or are ready to hear right now. Um, but even on a side note, this is one of the things I said we kind of connect two different topics together. This is I'm not sure what's going on, so y'all gonna have to let me know. Somebody fill me in the comment sections what's going on. But I seen something about Charleston White making a certain type of T-shirt pertaining to the Carmelo Anthony situation. I don't even know what to think of this, but let me look at it now.
You to make the decision, you have to make it with him. Yeah, nah, I honor nigga mother and father, but nigga. As much as it hurt me, nigga, I tell people all the time, nigga, kids have to suffer based on their mother and father's decision, no matter what I'm connected to them about. The world's gonna treat you according to who your mother and father is.
So what's your thoughts on that 35-year sentence when he handed down?
Boy. As long as it seems, he's still young when he come on.
Okay. Couple thoughts. So first of all, let me get to the Charleston White aspect of this first. Now, for whatever reason, Charleston White is created a Carmelo Anthony watermelon shirt. Look, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but let me say this about Carmelo Anthony. Let me say this about Charleston White. If you choose to listen to or take any stock in the thing that Charleston White says, whatever, that's on you. Let me ask another question. If Charleston White is not saying things that are controversial or saying things that give some type of knee-jerk reaction, what does he actually do? What is he actually good for? He's not in sports. He's not in entertainment. He's not a scholar. He hasn't gave any significant contributions to society. His whole life or his relevance is about saying something and doing things that's controversial. Riling people feathers. Without that, if he's not doing something and saying something that's that has shock value to it, then he has no substance. His substance is in shock value. Outside of that, he has nothing, but people still listen to him. And I saw some video where he was talking about he was going to give some type of money to the family of Carmelo Anthony, and he was supposed to be giving some type of support, and then all of a sudden he said he's backing out of it. And now the next thing you know, he's doing these watermelon t-shirts because he said white people want the shirts. He is the latest example of people who capitalize off of pain and suffering of Black people. So let me say it like this. If you feel that there are certain people in our community who do things for the purpose of capitalizing, most of the time we hear this about preachers. Or say all they want to do is capitalize off of black pain. If you believe that way, throw Dr. Umar in there, throw Charleston White in there. There's some other people. All that they do is they look for controversy, and they know they capitalize off of the emotions of our community because they know we are an emotional people, and we have responses for certain things dealing with our community, and they know it. They've learned to be puppet masters because so many people can be easily incited to feel a certain way. So that's the Charleston White of it. I mean, if you still listen to him and think he has a bit of truth, or he's doing things for the sake of truth, or he says things because he's trying to help his community, if you don't realize that he's trying to help nothing more than his own pockets and relevance and his own status, then that's up to you. I'm way past that. Now the Carmelo Anthony situation. I will admit I had not been following it very closely for the last 18 months or so. But these are the things based off of my limited knowledge, what I pay attention to. These are just observations that I have. I say I wish parents, elders would take more time teaching their children about the consequences of their actions. There are several different conversations that go on, but most people, it seems like they don't know how to separate them. As far as there's a conversation, and a valid conversation, that he was given too much time in comparison to other people in this same region that had the same issue that didn't get the same amount of time that he got. So the question is, are we upset because we feel that the sentence was too heavy on him? Or do we feel that the sentence was too light on other people? Do we feel that he should have gotten a lighter sentence based on other situations before him that received a lighter sentence? Or do we feel that those other people should have got the same sentence that he had? They are similar, but they're two different things. So when we scream about injustice, by a comparison measure, yes, there are injustices. But, however, on a human aspect, many people will argue if you take a life, there's an argument that you should have your life taken away from you as well. So, the other young boy that lost his life, Metcalf, he has no possibility he has no future of any kind, whether it's behind bars, whether he gets out free at a certain age, his life is over. And for a parent of someone who's lost a child in a situation like that, would you be angry if they felt that was, you all are upset about him getting a certain amount of time in prison, but his parents still have the ability to see him and talk to him, communicate with him, and maybe even one day, live a full life with him later on down the road. The only thing that I did agree with Charleston White is that he has the potential of still being a young man when he gets out. I mean, 35 years, terrible, but depending on, how sentencing is done in Texas, then, he may be out in 20. Good behavior. You can be out 20, 22 years. You will still be your late 30s, early 40s. You still have a full life ahead of you that you have the ability to partake in. And the young boy Metcalf doesn't have that opportunity anymore. So my thing is, I wish people would, if anything, this is what I would say for those of you, because especially if you have kids, and I have a son that is right in that age range, so it does hit you differently. If you have children, take these um take these situations and use them as learning and conversational opportunities. I plan on sitting down with my son in the next couple of days. I'm gonna ask him, "Hey, what do you know about this story? Tell me about what you've heard or what you've learned or what what did you get out of this?" And have a conversation with him about the laws not being fair, not being set up for you, especially if you're a black boy. And also, just not and not just that. It's not just about the laws ain't fair, everything is not set up for you, which that is true. You will get a higher and a longer sentence in all probability if something happens like that, then that's true as well. But basic, um, give your children basic levels of awareness. Do you know it? I don't care how long the blade is or how long the knife is. If you pull a knife on somebody in a fight, you run the risk of taking somebody's life. Not just let's take it a step back further. Every time you choose or you are a willing participant or even unwilling, every time you get into a fight with someone, you risk the chance of taking someone's life, of losing your own life every single time. If you don't think about this before you put hands on somebody or square up with somebody, then you're not doing the individual as an individual, you're not doing your job. And as a parent, you're not doing your job when you don't make your children aware of that. A fight ain't just a fight. It might just be a fight or it could turn into something else. And once those emotions get risen, you don't have the ability to de-escalate other people's emotions. Every time, every fight I get into, I take the mindset of you run the risk of losing your life or taking a life. You run the risk of partaking into a situation that you may not have. You might have control at this moment right before the fight start. You got control to walk away. You got control to try to de-escalate. But once that fight starts, you don't have control over everyone and all parties involved and the people and the bystanders and the people who might be ready to jump you and somebody who got the gun or a knife in the car or someone who you don't have control over all of that. I would encourage parents to enhance the awareness of every time you partake in certain actions, then you understand the consequences that could potentially go along with it. Very unfortunate situation. There are no winners in this. And some of this stuff, all right, this part where people get mad at me, I'm probably gonna have a conversation later about this. Be careful about the trolling behavior, the race baiting. I'm not a person who likes to talk like that, but it's true. First thing that didn't make sense to me, because I kept hearing, well, he was being bullied. He was, the boy was bullying him, so he had to defend himself. And then when I found out they didn't even go to the same school. Don't tell me you being bullied by somebody and you are not even forced to share the same spaces on a day-to-day basis. Ain't nobody bullying you and you don't even go to the same school. You don't even share the same space on a regular basis. Stop that. Stop it. You got to learn how to handle conflict resolution a little bit better. Now, I hate that the boy got that amount of time. That it's terrible. And in some situations, what you can do is use those as teachable moments. So why don't we focus on making sure that these things are not regular occurrences and that we can minimize these things from happening as often in the future? And this is the other thing, and then I'm gonna get off of this. This is where my people irritate me because of certain things that we don't understand. A lot of times we don't understand how this game is rigged on the front end. And what I mean by that is you should already know how a thing is going to play out when we operate off of emotion oftentimes, but we don't operate off of understanding. So one of the things how Trayvon Martin, how George Zimmerman got off. Part of that is you have to pay attention to how the court sentences a person or a thing. A lot of time the sentencing is the manipulation aspect of it. So even in the Trayvon Martin case, they came out from the jump and they tried to charge George Zimmerman with first-degree murder. That's a mistake. Those are things that we don't pay attention to. It sounds good at first, but you got to think about what are the requirements for something to be qualified as first-degree murder. There has to be malice. There has to be forethought. And a lot of these things, it just came up on the fly. And for what you want to get the maximum level, but then you also have to understand the situation doesn't meet that criteria. So basically, by overcharging someone, you're actually helping them get off, if it's the right type of person that they want to get off. And then on the flip side, then we have to be very vigilant about how our people and our children are being charged. Part of the reason that it wasn't the same consequence as some of those other children that it happened to, they weren't being charged for the same thing. We should have, instead of fighting about the verdict, we should have been fighting tooth and nail for anyone who's actually invested or interested in this story. We should have been pushing for the right charge to be put in place. How is first-degree murder, or how is that even on the table? If it wasn't pre-thought and malice, and that should have been put on the table. Why wasn't it involuntary manslaughter? Why did the lawyer not be able to get it convicted of a lesser charge? Why, as people, did we not demand that the proper charge be put in place before this trial took place? That's all the stuff that has to be done on the front end. If you don't do it on the front end, then you're screwed on the back end. And that's what I consistently see. People on the front end, or the situation that happens on the front end, is improperly handled. And from that, we don't get the consequences that we're looking for. Hopefully things works out. I hope the appeal works out, and they may be able to lessen the charge or I just hope, 35 years, that's rough on anybody. I wouldn't recommend it. Let me get to a couple other stories. A couple things that people, let me see. I'm trying to see which one. Okay. So this is one that I got from the Free Thinkers page. I don't know who posted this. I think it was maybe Nikki might have posted this, but I guess there's something that's been going on. I don't know the full backstory, but there's some issue, I believe, that was going on in the Carolinas, and it sparked an outrage. Maybe I think maybe a child or something. It was almost like a Natasha Harlan situation where a black kid was killed by an Asian store owner, and then the story started coming in, talking about boycotting Asian businesses and boycotting them from our neighborhoods, which they've been selling products out of our neighborhoods for a long, long, long time. This has been going on since whew, Lord knows how long. But this is a statement that hopefully I can pause some of this stuff. But let me see.
When the black community says, let's boycott Asian businesses, please do. We'll get rid of the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromats. Let's get rid of the liquor stores as well. Get rid of the Jordans you guys wear, the Nikes you wear, the shower caps, the Hondas, the Hyundais, all your car electricians, the electronics in your house, the Sony, the TV system, your sound system, the microphones that you guys use to rap and speak about awareness for the black culture and the hip hop culture. Where do you think that's made in? That's made all in Asia. And here's another thing for you guys. You guys want us to leave the neighborhood so bad? Oh, Asian people are not neighborhoods? We're in white neighborhoods. We have our own Chinatown. We have our own Koreatown. You think we really need you guys to benefit off and make money? A lot of us do go to college as well. You're being outworked by immigrants who barely speak English. And you're not embarrassed? Go to the bank, start your own businesses, and deal with your own people. I want to see your own women get on their hands and knees and do pedicures and manicures and deal with nasty ass attitudes, okay? Please, boycott Asian business. I'm all for it.
So, you know what's funny? I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but you know what's funny is it's not just white people who walk around with that level of arrogance and entitlement. Did you see how casually? It's a few things I'm gonna get to, but do you see just one thing that stood out to me? Do you see how casually he talked about? Why don't you just stop being lazy? Why don't you go to the bank and go get your loan and get your business loan so you can work like a? You see, you see how flippant he was. Like, oh, just go to the bank and get your loan. Because in his mind, that shows the amount of privilege that even other minorities have over us. Someone could tell him like, oh yeah, you must don't, yeah, you can just go to the bank and get you a business loan. That doesn't work for us like that, sir. And let me go back to the basis of it. So this is, it's where people get out of control. So he's talking about, oh, your shoes and your batteries and all the clothes and stuff. We're not talking about that. You mass produce that for the world. We're talking about you setting up shop and specifically in our communities in order to get the black dollar, but you yourselves don't circulate your dollars within our black community. You profit off of us, but give nothing back. That's what we're talking about. We ain't talking, you can keep making all the Nikes and Jordans that you want to. You're making that for everybody. But we're talking about specific businesses that you set up in our communities, don't allow us to benefit from it. Rarely ever do you hire or give employment to any of us there. And that's what people are talking about boycotting from. And for those who are thinking about this is a conversation that's been on the table for a very long time. I don't like to use one person as an example for all. This guy, if he is a representation of how many Asians feel, which I believe that he probably is, because the proof is in the pudding and the proof is in the evidence of how we are treated in our communities. We are not celebrated when these shop owners and the people come to our community. And first of all, don't act like you're not doing us a favor. Just, you could cut that out. You ain't doing it because you giving us a favor. You're doing it because these are the spaces and areas that you are allowed to own and operate businesses. And all that other stuff talking about, well, yeah, we in white neighborhoods too. No, you're not. Now that was where you was just flat out lying. You are not owning and operating in white neighborhoods the same way that you're operating in ours. That's a flat out lie. Ain't no truth in that. You come to our neighborhoods because that's where they grant you access to. So yeah, but that's just not true. But yeah, we are not celebrated. There's not and I think that's the biggest thing, is the lack of appreciation. You are able to maintain and thrive off of a lifestyle based off of the black dollar, and you don't show any appreciation for it. That's a problem. I hope we get to the place one day. And in all honesty, I'll be absolutely honest. I would love to see us have an Asian boycott in our communities, to say, yeah, no, we're not going to keep giving you our dollars until you learn how to appreciate us right. Until you learn how to invest in us as well. You are profiting from this community, but you don't want to give anything back to the community. I think that should be one of the next boycotts. Yeah, I absolutely believe that, because under no other circumstance, Italians ain't gonna let you set up shop in their neighborhoods. White people ain't letting you set up shop in their neighborhoods. Then, like, nobody, the because of the disparity, redlining, and our lack of opportunities. I don't want to give a whole bunch of excuses, but some of that stuff is the truth. We don't get the same business loans as other people do. So there's vacancies and there's openings in our communities and neighborhoods that allow you to come in and be gatekeepers. You're not special. But just pay attention to his mindset, the way that he spoke on that. That's pretty crazy. But it does give you insight to how a lot of them, and it's not just what he's saying, what he says backs up the actions of the people that you encounter in those neighborhoods. See, he's saying it, but most of the people that you know in those shop owners, they don't say it, but their actions is what back up that mindset or that thought process. I'd love to see it happen. Even if it don't, then I am one of those people, like, at this stage of my life, I'm so past you treating me any kind of way or you not showing me the proper amount of respect. I don't care if it's bubble gum that I'm getting for 50 cents. I won't give your business a penny if I feel like you're not respecting my dollar properly. And I definitely will not put money in your hand when you don't respect my dollar, or you want to come treat me like a second class. Oh, okay. Don't worry about that. I'm not stepping foot in your door another day. You ain't got to worry about that. Forget that. But that's interesting. We'll see what happens with that. I think I got, this one is weird. And this is one that Smack sent me, and I see these type of stories periodically, and it's curious to me how even a lot of people will lean towards certain people like they're making sense. Let me tell you something. This is a basic rule of thumb, and maybe just because I have a lot of conversations with people of all races, demographic, tax brackets, walks of life. Just because you speak with confidence and you speak articulate, that does not mean that you make sense. That does not mean you know what you're talking about. Would throw it if there's I guess a new pet peeve, especially as a podcaster or a debater that I have, is people thinking that another person is making sense just because they're speaking with authority. You can speak with authority, absolute authority, and make no sense at all and be the dumbest thing that I never heard. These next two stories I'm going to talk about are some of the dumbest things that I have ever heard, but people will either listen to it. Sometimes people say, so, and then I have a question like, why are you even sending me this? Do you think that this makes sense? And some of it just people, they talk with their chest out and they talk with authority. They speak very well. And you're like, oh, that make a good point. Be careful. Everything Tupac said didn't make sense. But he said it so strong and so passionately. He had a lot of people following it. let me pull this up real quick. Oh shoot.
Symbolizes rebirth. It symbolizes going through an immense amount of trauma, physical, mental.
No, hold on. I think that's the second part.
Let me ask you a question about serial killers. What race are the majority of serial killers?
I don't know the statistics on that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who is Saul? I see you like Saul. What race was Saul?
White.
What race was Freddy Krueger? What race was Jason?
Talking about
What? I know, because even in the movies, you're the monster. I mean, goddamn. You educate the children with monsters. The Cookie Monster, Elmo. Right. That's a monster. Everything that you do, you teach people with monsters because you are monsters. That's right. That's what you are. Naturally in your spirit.
Born for just having a fucking skin color? How
No,
is that fair?
because of the content of your character. Right. That's who you are. You're evil. How in the hell can we talk about character and you have on a soft shirt?
It symbolizes rebirth. It symbolizes.
Okay, so are we talking about the content of someone's character, or are we talking about their skin color? It can't be both. You can't be a monster because you white, but then you also a monster because of the content of your character. Or if the guy is saying because you are white, then you come predisposed with a certain character flaw. And this is what this is where you got to be careful, because there is a lot of messed up stuff in society. There is a lot of racism. And when I'm talking about racism, it's not, oh, I hate you because you black. I'm talking about the system of racism that's in place that all parties abide by. White, black, and every color in between, they abide by a colorism system that gives people certain privileges in their mind. Is certain, in their mind they have a certain entitlement, and in other people's mind, then they have a certain disgust or hatred for themselves. My point is, those things do exist, and you can acknowledge that those things exist. But once you start leaning to the side of, the whole all white people are devil type of thing, then it's like, how? Like, really, how? If you tell me every white person that you know is a devil, I would argue that you don't. I will ask you, really, how many white people do you know? See, because the conversation goes both ways. In almost every case or situation, when people have prejudice, it typically comes from a lack of knowledge or a lack of exposure. For white people who think all black people are a certain way, I guarantee you they don't have a lot of true black friends. And you don't have enough. Either you don't have them or you're not exposed to enough to be able to experience diversity and nuance between people. If you speak to enough people, all races of people, then you'll realize that there are good people and there are bad people in every race. But you won't single out one type of race and say that's stereotyping. One, that is the laziest, cheapest way to try to classify someone, and you classify them because you don't have a desire to get to know them. It's pretty crazy. This is a part 2 to this. Let me see the part 2 on this.
It symbolizes rebirth. It symbolizes going through an immense amount of trauma, physical.
Oh yeah, and even to the point where he was he used a bunch of fictional characters to make a point, and I'm like, he using the Cookie Monster to make a point, like about. I wonder how the guy behind him, the guy who reading the scriptures behind him, and the people who follow, because I'm not 100% sure, but they seem to be more of the Hebrew Israelite persuasion. I wonder how the people who following him, because he got a small group of people behind him following that. I wonder what are they really like, that's the truth, or they be like, man, Chad be wild, and I don't know what he talking about. Like, it's weird. I just be wondering I wonder what the sidekicks be thinking sometimes when they say this type of stuff. And then you know what happens? They have to turn around and do the same thing that white people do when it comes to black people are this and black people are this and black people are this. But then they say, oh, but not you. You're okay. You're one of the cool ones. You ever have that happen to you? Where someone is on your whole race, but then they say, oh, no, you're not one of them. I'm like, no, I am one of them. You just happen to get a chance to know me a little bit better than you got to know some of them. Now, on the flip side, do you want to be one of those people where you want to sit there and in principle call all white people devils and say that they monsters and say that they character flawed and this is, do you really want to do that and then have to make an exception? Oh, but not you. I wasn't talking about you. You cool though. You see how people do the same thing? No, that just means that you don't take the time to do your homework. You haven't got the chance to, you haven't made the choice to experience someone on a human level. I promise you, if you experience people on a human level in just about every situation, and if you have enough of those experiences, then you realize they're just like you or just like your community. There's a wide array, some good, some bad. And at this stage, I'm of a certain age. If you at a certain age and you still carry that mindset, what are you doing with your life? The one thing that I like about getting older is that I don't suffer fools much. I'm much more apt to tell you, yeah, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. You're acting or you're thinking foolish. And this is the part I like. As much as I talk and I do debate, and we have discussion groups, when it comes to me giving my opinion, I don't feel the need to explain myself much, especially for things that I know don't really need a whole lot of explanation. There's certain things that's cut and dry. Either you agree with it or you disagree with it. But if you want me to give extra explanation about how everybody ain't a devil, then I'm like, no, I'm not. You go do your own soul searching. You do your own homework and then come back to me after you did that. That's why I kind of learned this from my sister. Well, I'm not going to sit there and, is a white person from another or somebody from another race, then they want to ask me questions and they want to help me understand about black people. Well, have you done any homework yet? Have you looked up the basic stuff? Why don't you do this? You do homework, do some research, and then you come to me and ask me if some of the research or the conclusions that you came to have valid. But if all you want to do is come to me because you want to understand, but you don't do no homework for yourself, I might tell you something, but I'm not going to do a whole lot of explaining. Because you've shown you don't have a desire to do the homework. If you don't want to do the work, then I don't feel compelled to explain anything to you. The level of research, homework, thoughtfulness that you take into a situation lets me know how hungry you are to actually change. If the only time you come to me is just in a casual conversation, but you won't look, and literally in this day and age, you have so much information at your fingertips. And you mean to tell me you won't look into any of it? You still don't know nothing about Malcolm X. You don't know nothing about Nat Turner. You don't know nothing about, the intricacies of the slave trade. You still think Christopher Columbus is a good person. You still think all the presidents was right. Like, I don't have anything to tell you. You too far behind for me right now. I can't tell you nothing. Yeah, well, but why would I? That's more of me casting my pearl before swine. I'm trying to give you some gems, and you're too sloppy to even you wouldn't know it from slop, because you have no sophisticated palate. You have no nuance. You haven't done any self-work. And I don't feel responsible to help you out with that. That's the one thing that I do enjoy about getting older. I'll finish this out and then I get to my last thing.
Symbolizes rebirth. It symbolizes going through an immense amount of trauma, physical, mental, for the sake of trying to find redemption. Do you even see the movies?
Yes, I do. And you
All
can,
of them.
you
All
can
10.
sympathize. You sympathize with the murderers, don't you? Because you feel their passion. You know why you feel their passion? Because you're all monsters. Read that verse again.
In the lust of your father, ye will do.
You are doing the lust of your fathers. You understand why Saul does what he does. You understand Jason's pain. You understand Freddy Krueger's pain. You know why? Because you think just like him. You have the same lust. You have the same lust as Jeffrey Dahmer. It's the same exact spirit in you. And guess what? The same spirit that's in blacks and Hispanics is the same spirit of the men in this Bible.
I'm a fan of
that
both,
meek
because
and
it's a-
compassion and loving spirit is what's in us, but because we've been living under monsters for so long, from the top,
Symbolizes
So yeah, we are all black and brown people are all meek and humble and righteous, but it's the white man that calls us to so the reason that we are the same way they are is only because of them, but it has nothing to do with us or the human nature of greed or the human nature of coveting possessions, things like none of that. No, that has nothing to do with us. We are only this way because you made us this way. Is that how you want to live your life? Blaming other people for the reason that you are or your people are a certain way? That, again, he speaks with a lot of conviction. He speaks with a lot of authority and ain't making no damn sense. Basic rule 101. If you hear someone say always or never, they're almost always wrong. It's just, I mean, I want you to come up or find about 3 to 5 statements of someone who said always or never. And you tell me if that statement was right. It's dismissive to the core. Okay, so I don't even know what else to say about that. Somebody let me know if you feel, if you feel that there's actually validity to it, then yeah, let me know. And the other thing, the last part I'll say, because this is the part, the gentleman, his sidekick or his scribe or reader, whatever you want to call reading the scripture for him, always keep in mind that that's why I'm very, even though I'm someone who follows and listens to the Bible, I'm very I'm cautious on who reads it. I'm cautious on don't allow somebody, I guess this is the way I say it. Don't allow, somebody reading the Bible to you and trying to give you a truth because it came from the Bible. For me, that has next to no value to it. Someone reading about, this is a prime example how someone takes the Bible and they make it mean what they want it or need it or prefer it to mean. And this is the dangerous thing about the Bible, the Christianity, religion as a whole. It ain't even about the Bible. It's about the interpretation and the intent and the heart behind the people who are reading it. That's why at one point in time, I was of the mindset that, you know, the word is the word. If it's in the word, that's just what it is. That's really not. The interpretation of the person that speaks the word is what you have to be careful of. Someone can read a Bible all day and have the most twisted, messed up interpretation of it. That's why most religions that have mass suicides, encourage you to kill another human being, encourage you to hate people, they pulling from the Bible. They pull in scripture. Well, in the scripture it say this and this and that, and this. Don't pay attention to the Bible. The Bible only has the power of the intentionality and the heart of the person that's reading it. I say this oftentimes, and that's not even me making it up. That goes in here. When Jesus, even in the Bible, you know what the Pharisees and the Sadducees were doing when they were combating Jesus? They were reading the scripture to him. They were reading the laws and the books of Moses and Isaiah. They were trying to quote scripture to him to tell him how wrong he was. So that's not even a new thing. People will take scripture and make it mean what they want it to mean. To the point that they got mad that Jesus healed somebody on a Sunday or a Saturday, the Sabbath day. You see how twisted people's mindset is? So the word itself, don't ever let nobody come to you with the word, with Bible, with scripture, with teaching. It only has value up into the heart and intentionality of that person. You remember that Denzel Washington movie, Book of Eli? And the guy was talking about, I got to get my hands on this book. If I get this book, then I can control people. I can get people to follow me. I can get them to do things that I never thought, that the average person can't get them to do. I need this book. So part of that, the Bible does have power to it, to actually get you to do it. But in the hands of the wrong person, which is often, which is most people, in my opinion, in the hands of the wrong person, then it is a manipulative, destructive tool. And I see why a lot of people are turned off by religion, turned off by church. It's very manipulative. It's almost like, see, me and my sister, we were talking about Lord of the Rings. It has like a ring, like, Lord of the Rings type quality to it. It's one of those things to where it's very powerful, but in the hands of the wrong person, it becomes very destructive. You got to be careful on that. I think I got one more. Let me get me. I got one more thing that grabbed my attention. This is another. I don't know why people be sending me these posts a lot of times. This is another post that someone sent me as well. And this is, so remember what I said about 15 minutes ago. People, just because you are articulate, you speak well, and you speak with authority, that do not mean you know what you're talking about. Do not get caught up with someone who speaks well and think that they're actually making sense. You got to learn how to hear what someone's actually saying versus how they're saying it. This is something about relationship. Let me 89, 99. Okay, I think this is the first one.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
So I had a question. I was talking to my homegirl, and we were talking about equal yoke.
Whoa. Yo, homegirl.
Yeah.
Your homegirl?
Yeah, my best friend.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
Can you address the part when, you kind of paused when I said I have a homegirl. Can you address that issue? Because I was kind of confused.
Yeah, how old are you?
25.
Okay. But the point is this. If you know, you know. You probably don't know, which is a problem.
Okay.
The point is this. You're a grown man.
Okay.
A grown man with actual true responsibilities like bills things going on and stuff to do, does not keep women around him and calls them homegirls. There should be no woman around you that is not adding into your purpose as a man, and that's the problem with the modern day men. You dudes operate like girls. You don't operate like a man. You operate like a woman, unfortunately, in certain ways. Which is why I was asking you, what is your sexuality? Because
All right, we're gonna keep going. That's the first part. So his initial premise is that if a man has a quote unquote homegirl, then there can be no value added to that man from someone who is a homegirl. That's his part. That's the premise of what he's saying. Let me go to the second part.
guys who are into other guys, those guys usually tend to be around multitudes of women and like be friends with them and be on the phone with them and text them and call them homegirls. You get nothing of value that makes you a better man being around a woman. And I'm gonna put it into.
Dang, I wish I could pause this. So he said you get nothing of value being around another woman. So he's of the thought that if a woman ain't if this woman is not in an exclusive relationship with you, then they don't have any value to bring to you. And you know what bothers me the most? Somebody sent this to me. When somebody sends stuff to me, so okay, let me slow down. Let me ask y'all this. Outside of, you know, comical posts or spoofs or something like that, anytime you send a post like that, it's because you believe that there's some truth or validity to it. What bothers me is there are people, even in my own circle, who feel that there's some truth or validity to this. This is the most ass backwards ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. Someone who is your homegirl or someone who is a friend of the opposite sex cannot bring any value to your life. He literally said that. And you have people who will run along with that and actually believe that it's true. When in actuality, I will argue most of these people who are single can't find, and let me speak to the men since he's talking about men. Most of the men who are single, this goes both ways too, because I've said this to a lot of my homegirls as well. A lot of times people are single because they carry this mindset that they don't want to interact with anyone else from the opposite sex unless you are going to be that person for them. Anything else, if you're not the one for me, then you just wasting my time. That's the dumbest and the most dangerous mindset. How do you think you are going to develop relational skills if you don't learn how to have friendships and interact with other people, even of the opposite sex? You know what happened to people, men who only interact with other men and don't interact with women on a friendship level? They start to look at women like objects. When they actually get into a relationship, they know nothing about women. And you talking about, well, a woman don't have anything to add. Do you know how much my women friends add to me as far as helping me understand how women operate? You know how messed up I would be if all I did was listen to advice from other men about how I should deal with women? I mean, that's literally the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Did I even get through the first part of this? I think I did. Let me go to the second part. You need people, and this is what I encourage people, and I tell this to even to a lot of my single friends. You need to date, and not just date. You need to date wide, and not just date wide. You need to date people that's typically outside of your range of interest. You know why? Because you still learn stuff from people. You might actually find out other things about yourself that you didn't know. You find out about other listen, you think people who you are on a date with or romantically involved, they don't even give you all the information. it's typically your friends, your homegirls or your homeboys that will kind of let you peer in behind the back door and kind of explain things to you that the average woman wouldn't explain. And you think it ain't no value in that? Insane. And I see why so many dudes walk around dumb and clueless. And trust me, because I'm in some group chats with like some men group chat. It's ridiculous. I used to think women had it bad. Men are just as bad as the ladies are. Cause you're so hell bent on trying to find people, men and women, that fit your pre-existing mindset. So all you doing is you look to be and hang around people who agree with the way that you think and your perception about relationships and marriage. And those are the people you're looking for confirmation. You're not actually looking to grow or learn. I can't tell you how much I see this. And those are the type of people at one point in time, like, you want to help them, but I'm like, yeah, you too far gone. We both too old at this point. If you haven't learned enough by now, like, the way that you're doing things, not only does it not work, but it's effed up, and it also makes you you've made yourself a repellent to the opposite sex. If you ain't realized that by now, I sure ain't got a whole lot to tell you. Like, you kind of too late in the game. Oh, niece told me change. I left that from the last time. Yeah, let me get that off Wingman. Thank you. Yeah. So he gotta let me see if I can get to the other part of it. Let me see if I can get to the other part. Get to my media. It was okay. I don't think I got all the way through the second part. Let me see what else he's saying.
Guys who are into other guys, those guys usually tend to be around multitudes of women and like be friends with them and be on the phone with them and text them and call them homegirls. You get nothing of value that makes you a better man being around a woman. And I'm gonna put it into context.
You get nothing of value that makes you a better man. Listen. See, so for me, I don't even have to, like, if I ran across something like that, then boom, my frequency don't even align with that. I change. But the fact that people send this to me, it makes me wonder, like, this is how y'all really think? This is what you agree with? That throws me off. It actually concerns me to know and I guess I should know it. But it throws me off to know that that's the mindset of so many people, or someone would actually listen to that and think that it makes sense. Let me get through this because I can't pause it. It starts all over again. I'm gonna just let it go through, hopefully.
Guys who are into other guys, those guys usually tend to be around multitudes of women and like be friends with them and be on the phone with them and text them and call them homegirls. You get nothing of value that makes you a better man being around a woman. And I'm gonna put it into context for you. You're walking down the street and you're with your homegirl, punch you in your face. What is your homegirl gonna do? What can she possibly do?
She can't do nothing.
Right. So it's a liability. Thank you. So when you go to dinner or go get food or whatever with this homegirl,
okay,
who is usually the one that more than likely has to pay?
If you say more than likely, me.
Right. So it's a liability. Thank you for proving my point again. When it comes to advice, like life, like masculinity, like manhood, like being a better man in society, dealing with women,
okay,
you think you'll get better advice from your female friend, your homegirl, or you think you'll get better advice from a man?
I'll get better advice from a man, yeah.
So another liability. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you, what tangible benefit do you actually get from this homegirl besides her possibly being someone that you could sleep with?
Not much. But she does come for me for advice.
So, okay, so it's loaded. So one of the things that I did hear him say, talking about, well, who would give you better advice and, showing you how to be a man and giving, well, I'd get better advice from a man than I would a woman. That can be true, but just because you get better advice from one than the other doesn't mean that the other level of advice doesn't have value in it. That's like saying, as a son or being a man, I get who gives me better advice in being an adult between my father and my mother. well, maybe as a man, for me, I may identify with some of the stuff that my father says a little different. But that doesn't mean that the advice that my mother gives me is a liability and it has no value in it. Like, who's following this, man? Golly. And so, you ever wonder, like, why the dating pool and the relationship and the dissension and the polarization is the way that it is in today's society? It's stuff like this. And no, and that's a good question, because Denise said, do you agree, or are they baiting you into a convo? No. I know well, some people do be trying to. I don't think, no, you know what? Most people are not usually trying to bait me into a conversation. They think that it's something that's of interest, or that they usually send me things when they think people are making a point. Because in most situations, it's hard to even get me to respond. I'll just, me, I'll type trolling and then I just won't even respond to nothing else. I'm like, this whole conversation is beneath me. I really do act like that. I'm like, this whole conversation is beneath me. But I mean, the only reason it grabbed my attention, because I think, and based off of what I see and how I interact with a lot of my friends, I think a lot of people think like this. And even we heard back in the Kevin Samuel days, and they kept talking about a high value this and high value this. And I'm like, really? Y'all really, where is that getting you? And all this, I said this a while back on another show that I did. He Said, She Said. Shout out to Paige and other gentleman, I forgot his name, Boyd. So with all of this information, all of these podcasts you listen to, all these clips you watching, how much progress have you gotten in your relationships from this information that you keep getting? How has it helped you? Just tell me so. You've been listening to this for the last so-and-so years. What is the enhancement or the development of your relational skills, the relationships that you have with other women or men? Do you have better relationships now? Are you dating better? Have you found someone? Because obviously, if you watching all of this stuff, then at some point, then it should be kicking in and helping to some degree. But all I see is it getting worse for people. Maybe, is it just maybe possible that people feeding you a bunch of bullshit? Possible? And you know what? Let me say this. Somebody might be asking, Q, why are you even letting this get you riled up like that? A huge part of me don't care. If you like it, I love it. There is another part of me. I really do want everybody to be happy. I want everybody, if that's what you really want in life, I want you to be able to find your somebody. I really do. But it's one of those things, and especially at our age, you hit a certain age where you just can't tell nobody nothing, and they think they got it down. They think their way is the best way, and they just keep going down this. They keep going down a path that has no light or there's nothing at the end of that tunnel. And I can see them going down that path, and unfortunately, you just got to let them keep going down that path. But you've been listening to this dating, relationships, while reading the books and the podcasts and all this, and doctors who ain't really doctors and telling you all this shit. Well, where is it getting you, though? Where has it got you? Plethora of information that's leading you nowhere. That's a good one. And he said, influencers feed off the insecurities and trauma of others. Yes, 100%. And that's why I get to the place I'm like, I'm not going to give you what you want. Yeah, I agree. Kevin Samuels did make good points though, but it had to be put in a certain context. And a lot of these people who, so for instance, Kevin Samuel, even especially a lot of stuff, even that was directed toward women, he would talk about, women, high value women, talking about they want a high value man. He kind of set some things straight, like, you know what, the same thing that you looking for a high value man is not concerned about your degrees and your money and, things like that. He just would kind of give them context, like what's a priority for you is not even a priority for them. And then on the flip side, a lot of men would be trying to walk down this Kevin Samuel path, and I'm like, you're not the type of man that he's even talking about. You not this high quality man, and you not the person that he's talking about. You don't even qualify to be that person. So stop putting yourself in you trying to insert yourself in a situation that you don't even belong in. Okay, so let me say, if you want to seriously find someone, get off the net or properly vet who you're watching. That is a good question. That might have to be a show for another day. If you really want to find someone, how do you need to do it? What is your best path for those who are really trying to find someone? Is it the online route? Is it the personal route? Is it the let it fall in your lap route? Is it the casting a wide net route? Is it the friend of a friend route? I think that's a conversation that we had to have, because I'm really not I had to think about that. Like, what is the best route? I would like to do some research to see like how people who are, number one, finding that person, number two, actually having lasting, meaningful relationships, where is the majority of them coming from? I don't know. I had to think about that. I don't know if I have any final thoughts. No, I don't think I do. I just you got to have your own mind, have your own thoughts. It's okay, but just my final thought is, and maybe this is where I can bring everything full circle, because like I said, I didn't feel like getting on, but I kind of did at the same time too. And part of that is, I guess, if I could bring everything full circle, you have to practice being an individual. And what this was, even for me right now, it's a practice in being an individual. So variety of different situations and stories. I don't allow anybody else, including society, to tell me how I should feel about something. I need to listen to each thing individually and practice. Not with everybody else, because even with the Carmelo, I've heard what a lot of people have said about that situation. You can't let that matter. What does it mean to you? How do you process this? And how are you breaking this down? What are you seeing? You got to learn how to separate, absent of all of the other societal opinions and pressures. I guess you got to, dang, man, that's chicken and the egg. Do you have to become one with yourself first? Or if you practice that, then it will actually help you become one with yourself. I think it's a cycle. Maybe you can start either, but you do have to, you got to be comfortable being an individual, being a free thinker. And then you got to practice it. You got to practice being confrontational, breaking down information, dissecting it, going against the grain, but not trying to be a contrarian. Don't always look for how you disagree with people. That's the thing too, because there is a segment of people who always look for the disagreeing factor in a situation. And it's not that you want to look for, you just want to start everything, every conversation, every situation with a clean slate. That takes practice. So I think that's what I was doing. All right. I got it out. Hour 15. We might just have a free thinkers going on tomorrow. Got to talk to the committee, see what's going on, see what we're thinking about, and we may have a conversation then. So stay tuned. And we'll see. But outside of that, keep interacting on the page. Also sign up on our YouTube page and be a part of the conversation in the way that you see fit. So until then, happy evening, everyone. See you next time.